our next nomination, there's a reason why I'm doing this job and Fiona isn't, and that's that she did a nomination herself, so it wasn't appropriate for her to play this role. So Fiona is going to nominate the next person who isn't present. So Fiona, will you take the floor, please?
Thank you very much, John. And I have to say, I was in two minds about whether I should make any nominations, and I really had to think about it, but in the end, I thought, no, I'm going to do so, and I did 2 nominations, and one of them got through, and this is the one that got through. But the reason I nominated Anna was that I think she's been incredibly brave over the whole time, really, that I've been in the research industry and that I've been lucky enough to know her. So when I first came into contact with Anna, she was working at Unilever for Lynx, or Axe, as it's known internationally. Mesh had been going all of about 4 months, I think, and our sister agency, Tuned In, had also been going 4 months. And somehow, in spite of working at Unilever, having rosters that they had to work to, we still got the work. And the reason we got this piece of work was that they had the Boom Chicka Wawa ad that was going out, and they really didn't think that they could actually measure the catchphrase any other way than in real time. So we were able to do this piece of work. But I have to say, it was right up to the wire in terms of how we were able to do it. So I remember that it was such a massive opportunity for Mesh, and I'm sure that any other agency owners who are in the room tonight will know that if you heard from Unilever that you might get a piece of work and you'd only been going a few months, you would grab the opportunity. So we took the risk of doing all the programming for this piece of work without a go-ahead on budget, and we were literally waiting, and we couldn't phone up every day to ask Anna if she'd managed to get the go-ahead or not. So we just had to kind of every other day just see how things were going. Friday, 5 o'clock, she phoned up. She just said, just go. And we did not ask any questions at that point. We just pushed the button because we knew the campaign was going live that weekend. Everything else came out of the wash later, so we were fine, because this won awards, we won 3 different awards, and it was all absolutely fine. But she pushed the button on 2 agencies that had not been in existence for, for even 6 months. And she keeps doing it. She's now in Brazil. She's working for PepsiCo. I've seen her talking about a company called Scooper over in Brazil, which is clearly another young agency that she's supporting. She also has been working with Mesh again. We're clearly a little bit further down the line now. We've been going 5 years, but she offered us a job in Mexico. We hadn't worked in Mexico, and she was happy to just say, off we go. I have to say that those from Mesh around the room will know that it's not quite as easy as you might think to get techs in and out of Mexico. And in fact, I had some of our operations people coming to me and saying, Fiona, in the last agency I was at, we'd have just given up. I said, no, carry on, we're going to do it, and we did. And it was the solution, we got through, the solutions were there, and it's now being taken around as best practice. But what she does is she's engaging the stakeholders as well. So she is a very intelligent and astute client that doesn't just give agencies that she thinks are innovative a chance, but she works through her own stakeholders to convince them, to help the agency to articulate in a way that's going to be appropriate to the client organisation. And I just think that over and over again she's doing this. Without people like Anna, the young and innovative research agencies would not get a chance. And I think it's incredibly important that we have clients like that in the industry. So that was why I nominated her. She was absolutely delighted when I told her that she'd won this award, and I will be taking it to her in Miami in April. So she is very much looking forward to it, and she's extremely sorry that she can't be here tonight. But that was why she was nominated.
Having worked for a company the dubious Force Telecom, who had a very, very strict and horrendous roster in place. I had a lot of sympathy with this, and I think, for an organisation as large as Unilever, who I don't know, but you would imagine have some quite strict guidelines on things like rosters, I thought it was incredibly brave on a number of fronts. One of which was to go outside of that roster and make that decision to go with that, as well as actually it being not only a new agency, but going back to some of the points I made earlier, an actual new methodology. So there was no, if you like, evidence that you could use to persuade people and get them to believe that this was actually going to work. You almost had to take that leap of faith to believe that this was actually going to meet your objectives. So for me, I think there's bravery on quite a number of fronts, and I think we can't underestimate the difficulties in going off roster if you're in a client-side organisation where they're really, really strict on things like that.